Strat-O-Matic Excel Carryover League. Brought to you by the Shrimp Troller. 1972 to 1975.
Game 576, Expos at Brewers. Welcome back, baseball fans. 1972-75 Carryover League. Back in the American League tonight in the second round of the postseason Race for the Pennant tournament. This is the last matchup in the second round elimination, and it divides the league, well, in this case, the American League, into 8 teams eliminated, 8 teams continuing. The winner of this series will be the 8th continuing. So there's 2 ways to looking at it. If you win this series, hey, your season keeps going, but you're the worst team left. And if you lose this series, well, you're going fishing. Hey, but you're the best of the 8 teams that have been eliminated, is what you can pound your chest on. The Expos and the Brewers. Expos in second place to the north versus the Brewers, third place in the Midwest. Let's take a look first at the overall needs of what has to happen in this series based on net wins and losses, with a brief covering of what has preceded. The Red Sox won their matchup. They're 4 over 500. Kansas City won their matchup. They're 3 over 500. Texas won their matchup. They're 2 over 500. 4, 3, and 2. And we have the Expos and Brewers here. Winner of this series will probably be the number 8 in that 5, 6, and 7. And the interesting thing is, well, let's take a look at Game 1. We'll show you. Game 1 opens up in Expo land. The problem is that Steve Rogers, the ace of the Expos, just pitched Game 7 of their first round series against Detroit. And there's no days off until after the third day, and then the Expos would go back to either Stoneman, McNally, or Ranko. So Rogers is not available until Game 5, which could be the deciding game, if there is a deciding game. In Game 1, the Brewers sort of exposed the Expos their weaknesses. 1, Steve Rogers isn't pitching. 2, you get a lead, so you don't have to worry about that incredibly talented Expo bullpen. And 3, you exploit the Expo infield defense, which is really shabby to be kind. And D, the Expos don't have a good bench. So if you're able to capitalize on all those areas, you could win. You could beat the Expos, who I think are still a favorite to win, as the Brewers themselves have plenty of warts, and they're still not the late 70s Harvey Wallbangers. But they won their first round matchup over the Twins, and now they're going to continue an improbable run to a possible postseason berth. In this one, it is Jim Colburn for the Brewers. Another advantage is that Colburn is slightly better against left-handed batters, which the Expos have some very, very talented ones. And it's Steve Ranko for the Expos. In this one, they jump on Colburn immediately. Jerry White with a single. Runners on the corners after Ron Hunt single. Jorgensen gets a fielder's choice. Or Bob Bailey singles in the run. And then Lee Stanton singles in a run. It's 2-zip. Second inning, you get a triple by Johnny Briggs. And here we go. 2 outs, runner at third. You get an error on Billy Grabarkowitz, the shortstop. And that's an easy run. But the Expos add to their lead in the second. Sac fly Ron Hunt, 3-1. Third inning, it's out, single. Ground ball to Bob Bailey. Plays it into a single. Oops, Next batter, Darryl Porter, 3-run homer. That's the type of stuff you can't do in the playoffs. If you get to the playoffs, you can't be exploited that way. And that's exactly what Milwaukee has done. Taking a 4-3 lead when the Expos actually have sent more batters to the plate. Then late in the game, the Brewers keep pecking away with 2 outs. A double, a 2-out single, a sac bunt by Darryl Porter. You bring in a lefty reliever to face Porter instead of a pinch hitter. They say, Darryl, why don't you just bunt? And he bunts the runner in the scoring position, and Johnny Briggs knocks him in with a double. Complimentary baseball played by Milwaukee. And this is a 6-3 victory for the Brewers in Game 1. Fun series taking shape, folks. I'm really enjoying the angles here. These two teams are fighting with the talent they have and best utilizing it. Game 2. Game 2, it is going to be Jim Slayton, who has really struggled this year in the 2-hole. Mike Torres has displaced him, but today he's pitching. Jim Slayton for the Brewers against Bill Stoneman for the Expos. And this is exactly what the Expos are hoping for on their best day. They bat around in the first and second innings, which included being walked 7 times, 8 times total by Jim Slayton. The Expos can take a pitch or two. They're very reminiscent of the Oakland A's when it comes to taking walks. And they got big boppers who had homers, and they don't feel very well. They kind of have a little bit of that Oakland A flavor to them in a more diminished style, but close to it. And they just wipe the floor early and often, and it seems like this is how this series could probably go. You've got a rising Expo team that's only going to get better in the decade, and the Brewers, who are supposed to be feeling the pain until the late part of the decade. An easy win for the Expos, 10-0. Bill Stoneman threw a 3-hit shutout, 4 walks, 10 Ks. Slayton gets knocked out after 4 innings. They're going to scratch his potential Game 5 start, obviously. Put a lefty, Gary Ryerson, in there if there is a Game 5. All tied a game apiece, going to Milwaukee. And can the Brewers hold on to the home field advantage they just took away? It's Dave McNally versus Mike Torres, and this is probably the most complete game we've had. Similar goofballs for both squads. Jerry White leads off the game with a solo homer. Bottom of the inning, ground ball, single. 2 of those singles were ground balls to Billy Grabarkowitz. Then you had a ground ball C scoring with a base hit nobody out. You had a ground ball C to the first baseman. Then with second and third, you had a ground ball to the shortstop scoring another run. Those are pretty easy earned runs to get to surrender there. It's 2-1 Brewers. You get a Charlie Moore double off the lefty McNally, and Hovley drives him in. It's 3-1. It stays this way. 8th inning of Dave McNally versus Mike Torres. Remember, Torres went to the All-Star game. He's pitching a gem today. McNally, not too bad. He settles down there for the shaky start. In the 8th, McNally serves up a double to John Briggs. Then the dangerous Ollie Brown, who's really good against lefties. McNally's lifted for All-Star closer Dale Murray. Punches the first batter out. But Robin Yount, the rookie, the 18-year-old rookie phenom, gets a single to left field, and you exploit the throwing arm of Jerry White. He's got a +2 throwing arm in left field. Briggs scores to makes it 4-1. Short's run was needed. In the 9th inning, they pull Torres with lefties coming up. He's not great against lefties. They go to setup man Kevin Cobell and Don McMahon. The Expos make it interesting. They get a J.L.U. pinch double. He did that a lot in his career. Ted Martinez pinch single. Gary Carter single. A grounder to second puts the tying runs in scoring position with 2 outs. And then Jerry White flies to center field to end the game. A very winnable comeback attempt. Brewers just have 1 more or 2 more answers. And as the underdog in this series, though a slight underdog, They have a 2-1 series lead, which takes us today to Game 4. Game 4, it's going to be a replay of the Game 1 starters. So you can see if that happens again. It's Steve Ranko versus Jim Colburn. Can the Expos figure out how to get some runs off of Colburn, which they didn't get enough of in Game 1? And can the Brewers continue to pepper on bases off of the laxed Expo defense and get timely hits? Could be a battle of bullpens, advantage Expos. And this is what Milwaukee wants to do. They want to win the day, win this series 3-1. Because if you go back to Expo land for Game 5, you're going to be up against Steve Rogers. And that could be an unfortunate turn of events, as the Brewers will be sending Gary Ryerson, a lefty. So, from County Stadium in Milwaukee, it's Expos Brewers Game 4. Fun, exciting series. Let's get started. Leading off, it's Jerry White. 39's a walk. Now, Ron Hunt. Now, in the last game, we wanted our righties to bat off of Colburn. If we did a strategy like hit and running, we do that with a lefty, we thought. But let's play it differently this time. Now, let's do a hit and run with Ron Hunt. Hit and run advances the runner. Runner at second for Mike Jorgensen. 56, short X. This is Yount. 331 makes the play. And Bob Bailey. 1-3, grounds a short. None of the thumpers have done a lot of thumping yet. And by thumping, I mean Bob Bailey, Ron Fairley, Gary Carter, Mike Jorgensen. Not a lot of dingers in this series. Bottom of the first, it's the Reverend Pat Kelly. 57's a K. Steve Hovley, 2-9 is a walk. George Scott, 1-5. 1-5, let's take a look at the George Scott card of 1973. You may as well call him the best player on the Brewers. He hit .306 with 24 home runs. Gold Glove caliber defense at first base. What's not to love? Started the season MVP form in March and early April, then went into a hard slump in which we thought the Brewers were going to fall out of the race altogether. Came into this series hitting .255 to recover from the dismalness. And 1-5 here is gone. It's 2-0 Brewers. Darrell Porter had that big homer in Game 1. 2-8 is a walk. Johnny Briggs, 2-7, double one, base hit, and here come your Brewers. Runners in the corners, 1 out. It's Ollie Brown. 5-11 off Ranko is a strikeout. Big K there. Kerp of Aqua. 3-7 is a base hit in a right field. 1 run scores. Briggs will not get thrown out at third. First and second, 2 outs for Robin Yount. And he flies left. 3-0 Brewers. It's Ron Fairley, 63. Short X. This is Yount again. And Yount already set up for him, and he kicks the ground ball. Oh, boy. Lee Stanton. 2-2's hit by the pitch. 2 on for Jim Nettles. 48 is a walk, and here come the Poes with the bases loaded with a mistake in there. For Gary Carter, you got to bring infield up. Gary Carter's an A bunter. What's going on? But he is. 43, first X. This is Scott. You can get the 3-2-3 double play with George Scott. He's a freaking 1-8. And he does! A rocket to first by Carter. He throws the Porter back to Scott. Scott, a 3-2-3 double play. Wow. All right, that puts runners at second and third with 2 outs. And it's Billy Grabarkowitz. 48, single 1 to 15. This could really redeem him from mistakes in the previous game. Single 1 to 15, but he rolls a 17. Ouch. And now you're seeing the problems amplified at the shortstop position for the Expos, as Grabarkowitz's only backup is Ted Martinez. 3-0. Blown opportunity. Bases loaded, 3-2-3 double play, and you miss a single 1 to 15. It'll be Paul Povich leading off in the second. 54. 54 off of Ranko. Homer 1/18. It's a base hit. He doesn't have power. Pat Kelly. 3-6 is a K. Hovley. 32 is a Lomax. And the Brewers squander that. Top of the third. Jerry White. 43. Off Colburn. First X again. Boy, it's the George Scott show. Flashing the leather. Hitting the dinger. The team MVP. Missed the All-Star game because he slumped. Torres went to the All-Star game. And he won Game 3 yesterday. Ron Hunt. 56. Short X. This is Yount again. Made an error earlier. Makes the play now. Mike Jorgensen. 210. Flies to right. George Scott. 2-9. Grounds a short. Daryl Porter. 6'11. Left X. 2E12 in left field is Jerry White. Makes the play. And with 2 outs, John Briggs. 59. Short X. Your shortstop is Grabarkowitz again. A 4-44. Another hit off of him. And Ollie Brown. 1-9. Ollie Brown's a base hit in the center. Briggs. 13, 14, 15 will hold there. For Kurt Bivacqua, a nice 2-out single in the first. 2-6 is a strikeout. Stays 3-zip. You know, if the Brewers win this series, you could call it a good postseason tournament because they went +2 against the Twins. They win this. +2 against the Poes. They use these wins to have a higher chance in the third round, which is only a best-of-3. Probably will play either the Orioles, Red Sox, or Kansas City if they win this series. And they like to make that a pure best-of-3 and not have to win 3 straight. Or worst case, win 3 out of 4. But that would be the improbable, what do you call it, threading of the needle. Everything falling into place. That's what the Brewers are crossing their fingers for. Top of the fourth, it's Bob Bailey. 310 is a K. Ron Fairley, 35 is a walk. Lee Stanton, 2-8. 2-8 is double 108, base hit. Runners on the corners for Jim Nettles. 312 is a walk, and again they've loaded the bases, just like the second. You got a 3-0 lead, but you got to bring it up for Gary Carter, A. Bunner. 411. Left X. Who's in left? Oh boy. It's the Reverend Pat Kelly. He's a 4-3 in left field. He makes the catch. Sac fly. Could have been a lot worse. So it's a 3-1 game. First and second, 2 outs. Grabarkowitz. 1-4, a strikeout. Not the best day for Billy Grabarkowitz, who, well, his career could be coming to an end anyway. And we're seeing why after this season. Bottom of the fourth, it's Robin Yount. 210 short. Popovich, 48 is a K. The Reverend Pat Kelly, 34, rolls back to the mound. Nice inning for Ranko. Hanging in there. Top of the fifth. Jerry White, 45. They finally hit the Colburn card. Triple 108. It's base hit. B. Steeler. I think you just got to swing away now. No more hitting and running down a couple. 410 is a pop to second. You got 0-arm Porter. You also have -1-arm Carter. Probably don't want to try a stolen base. Mike Jorgensen. 112, fielder's choice. Jorgensen now at first with 2 outs for Bob Bailey. 2-7's a base hit to right field. Jorgensen will not try and go to third against the great Ollie Brown arm. First and second, 2 outs. Your batter is Ron Fairley. 58 off Colburn. It's a pop to third. He knows how to frustrate his opponent. You know, Jim Colburn was a 20-game winner. I mean, that's not, you know, hey, 20-game winner on a team fighting for a playoff spot? I'll take that. Bottom of the fifth. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
All right, bottom of the fifth. Steve Hovley leading off. 56 is double on a 10 off. Ranko is a double. Now you got George Scott, homered, made 2 defensive gems. 47's a K. Darrell Porter, 33. Strikeout plus injury. We lost the catcher, folks. Charlie Moore will take over with a +1 arm. Alert to speedy guys on the Expos. That includes Jerry White and Ron Hunt. John Briggs with 2 outs. 57 is a K. Ranko, bad first inning, pretty good since. 3-1 game in the 6th. Highly competitive game and series. Lee Stanton. 3-10's a K. Jim Nettles, 44. Homer, 1-7 off of Colburn. It is gone! A home run for Jim Nettles. Had 4 of those in 1972. We got a 3-2 game. Gary Carter. 38's a walk. Greg Barkowitz, 63. Short X. He's a 3-31. This is Yount. Ground ball C. Runner in scoring position, 2 outs. Back up top to Jerry White. 6-12 is a roller to first. 3-2. Bottom of the 6th. Ollie Brown leads off. 3-9's a K. Kurt Bavacqua. 3-9 is single 1-5. Lines out. And Robin Yount, 55. Homer 1-3 fly ball is a fly ball. Ranko pitching very well. 3-2 in the 7th. Could the Brewers extend the defense a little bit for Colburn? The answer is yeah, they can actually. And they probably should. Even if it affects the guys coming up. So, they're going to put Jeter. This will empty the bench because you already have Charlie Moore in there for the injured Darrell Porter. Jeter comes in for the Bavacqua spot. He'll go into center. Hovley goes into left. Kelly goes to DH. Theobald can come in for... Oh, yeah. If you take him out, then, yeah. Yeah, Jeter's going to go into the outfield, so that means Charlie Moore is going to come out. We need a third baseman. Okay. I'm fine with that. Okay. 7th inning, top of. It'll be Ron Hunt leading off. 69 off Colburn is a fly ball to center. Mike Jorgensen, 110, single 1-15. But he lines out on an 18. We've seen 2 really bad line out shots on a 15 and on another 15. Missed them both. And it's Bob Bailey. 45, triple 1-3. It's a base hit. And now you got Ron Fairley. 2-7, single 1-15, and they finally get one. It's a base hit. 2 on, 2 outs. The batter's going to be Lee Stanton. Let's take a look at Lee before he bats here. Colburn's a starter 8. He'll face him, but Lee Stanton had a nice 74 for the Angels. A 267 average, 11 home runs, and 415 at-bats for Lee. Expos signed him in free agency. Here's the pitch to Lee Stanton. 67 is a strikeout. Jim Colburn gave up 3 runs in the first start, 2 runs today. Stretch time here in Milwaukee. We've been enjoying Big Star. A compilation, keep an eye on the sky. 5 hours of Big Star. You got remasters, live stuff, demos, all sorts of stuff. I think the reason that we gave them the Milwaukee backup music is from that 70s show because of this one. We'll throw this thing down. Bottom of the 7th, here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Ranko will continue. It'll be Paul Popovich. 2-9. Oh, let's take a look at the Paul Popovich card. Boy, if you've been following the Brewer games, I hope you have, this guy's been lighting it up as a 194 hitter by nailing the 2-9 triple against righties and the 211 and 311 and 12 homers and doubles against lefties. He had 1 home run in 72. He's already had 3 in our season. And he's going to get his 3rd triple here. 2-9, triple 1 of 17. He dusts himself off at third base. Wow. Tough break, Expos. The infield will come up for A bunting. Ron Theobald. 1-5, grounds the third. Runner holds. Runner still at third, one out for Steve Hovley. 2-5, first B, cut down at the plate, trying to score, and Jorgensen. We got some first basemen today, folks. We got a 1-2 Jorgensen, a 1-8 Scott. Hovley will be the runner at first with 2 outs, and it's George Scott. 1-4, just misses the homer and skies the center field. Well, the rally music just didn't work there for the Brewers. They got the leadoff triple and leave them there. My goodness. 3-2 game in the 8th. Boy, these teams, you don't know what's going to happen here. Colburn, he'll go out and battle in the 8th inning. Bottom of the lineup. The whole bench of Milwaukee's playing. Theobald at second, Charlie Moore's catching, Jeter's in center, Hovley's at left. Kelly's gone, Porter's gone, Bavacqua's gone. In the 8th, leading off for the Expos, Jim Nettles. 67, pops to second. Gary Carter. 2-4, grounds to short, and the shortstop, Grabarkowitz, 0 for 3 with some fielding gaffes. 4-10, pops to second base. Well. Will Colburn come out of the 9th? We're not sure. We'll see what happens in the 8th. Speaking of which, Franco's been magnificent, but they're going to hook him because they have to. In an elimination game, you got to get the best pitcher in the league, or your team at least, in the game, and that is Dale Murray. What a closer. A relief for 103 earned run average in 70 innings in 1974. You're wondering why the Expos have such a good record. They got great starting pitching, and they have a bullpen. Defense, and we mentioned their other problems, but Dale Murray comes on in the 8th to keep this a one-run affair. And he will battle Charlie Moore. 4-4 is a base hit. That's all you get. Most times that's a homer double. Just a single off of Murray. Number 5 hitter, Johnny Briggs. 2-4 flies to right. Ollie Brown. 58 flies to left, and with 2 outs. Whoops. With 2 outs, it's John Jeter. 1-7 is a strikeout. Well, there you have it, folks. 1 hit allowed by Murray. We go to the 9th. Buckle up! This could be for the playoff berth, or not the playoff berth, but the 3rd round tournament berth. 3-2 Brewers. Can they finish it off in the 9th inning? You got the top of the potent Expo lineup. White, Hunt, Jorgensen, Bailey, Fairley. Lefty, righty, lefty, righty, lefty. No relief in sight. Last time we went to McMahon because McMahon is simply a better version of Colburn. But we mentioned also that Colburn's pretty good about getting lefties out. But you know what, folks? Don McMahon's even better. He is. Don McMahon. Let's take a look. We're going to bring in Don McMahon to close it out in the 9th inning. Don's probably 100 years old. 73 Giants. 4-0. 150 ERA in 30 innings. This guy, I think he pitched in the 62 World Series. Did he not? Or one of those. I know he's been around since at least the 1950s. Ancient in 73. Really ancient now. Don McMahon's going to come on in the 9th inning for the Brewers to try and get them to the next round of the tournament, facing the very tough part of the lineup. Here's leadoff man Jerry White. 58 lines to second base. Now, next up, we got Ron Hunt. We'll show you cards. Here's Ron Hunt, 1973. A year removed from the hit-by-pitch record. Still gets hit by pitch on 7s, but he had, I think, twice as many hit by pitches a year ago. Second and third base, his defense is starting to wane. Went from the Giants to the Expos. Here's the pitch to Ron Hunt. 3-10 is a fly ball to the left, plus an injury. Let's make note of that. We'll just stick Ted Martinez in that spot if it really comes to anything. And with 2 outs, this is the Expos season, ending sooner than they thought it would, unless Jorgensen can reach. Jorgensen, Bailey, and Fairley, the 3 best hitters on the squad. Let's take a look at Mike Jorgensen's card in 1974. Oh my goodness, folks. Holy crap, we like to say. If this guy played a full season, he's an MVP. He had 350 at-bats, plate appearances, hits .310 with 70 walks, a 1.82, completely symmetrical, can even play the outfield if you want. If you had my choice between him and MVP Steve Garvey, if I could have both players for a full season and with these stats, I'd take Jorgensen. Of course, you're not going to get a full season of stats from Mike Jorgensen like that. But I'm telling you, as far as just straight up Strat-O-Matic card, give me this dude, Mike Jorgensen. Just needs to get on base or hit a solo homer to tie the thing. Here's the pitch to Mike Jorgensen. 1-8 is a base hit. We just saw a series recently between Cleveland and Kansas City. Cleveland's series was on the brink. 4 plate appearances in a row. They succeeded to extend the game each time and then eventually won it on a Lowenstein walk-off. And that's what the Expos need to do now. Keep extending their season. Number 4 hitter, Bob Bailey. Let's take a look at Bob. Oh my God, Bob Bailey. One of the most under-the-radar hitters of the 1970s. Probably because he played in the small market of Montreal, didn't get a lot of coverage. But boy, this guy could draw walks, hit for power, and average. He at least was versatile. Didn't have a good glove, but he could play third, left, first base if you needed him to. And here is the best hitter, not named Mike Jorgensen, on the Expos. The lead run. Here's the pitch to Bob Bailey. 54 is third X. You got to deal with Popovich, a 3.31 at third. You plug in the 5, the 3, and then the E rating 31. It's an error. It's an error. Oh my. By the way, in that thing I mentioned about the Cleveland Indians against Kansas City, one of the players rolled a ground ball to that third baseman, which was George Brett. George Brett made an error. And now the Brewer third baseman, he makes an error. And the game continues. The season is still alive for the Expos. And now you got the third best hitter on the team, not named Bob Bailey or Mike Jorgensen. It's Ron Fairley. Ron is the answer to a trivia question. Who was the all-star for both of Canada's expansion teams? It was Ron Fairley for the 69 Spos and the 77 Blue Jays. Little known fact, Ron Fairley. Getting up there in years, but in 73, he's hitting .298 with 86 walks, 17 home runs, and half a season, folks. By the way, 86 walks and 33 strikeouts for a first baseman. By the way, a 2 first baseman who doesn't even have to play there because Jorgensen's a 1 first baseman. Embarrassment of riches, he's the DH here. 2 on, 2 outs. The Expo season in the hands of Ron Fairley. Here's the pitch. 1-5, Ron Fairley, long fly ball, it's gone. The Expos take a lead. Down and out. 3 times, a 3-run homer for Ron Fairley, and Don McMahon blows the save. Oh my. Gotta love elimination baseball, folks. You get the best out of it. So if you've been following, Toronto couldn't pull the upset. Cleveland couldn't pull the upset, but the Expos are trying to do it. They're going to try and pull themselves out of the 2-1 hole and come back and win the series. Steve Rogers is already warming on the mound back home for his Game 5 start. We haven't finished this game yet. Lee Stanton. 47's a walk-off, McMahon, and that'll do it. And the Boo Birds come down in Milwaukee as Don McMahon may have blown the Brewer season. Jim Nettles will bring in Kevin Cobell to face Jim Nettles. Cobell's the setup guy. He's a relief starter. 74 Brewer, pitched 169 innings, so he actually started more than relieved. But there was no spot in the rotation, so he put him in the bullpen. Comes on to face Jim Nettles. Runner at first. Here's the pitch. 58's another walk. And the Expos aren't done. 2 on, nobody out for the kid, Gary Carter. 6'10", catcher's X. This is Charlie Moore. A4 E something. 3-6, my bad. He makes the play. Bottom of the 9th. Dale Murray not going anywhere. He's relief 4. This thing is... Any defense to bring in? Ted Martinez will play short. Grabarkowitz will play second because of that Ron Hunt injury. Nothing else will change defensively. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Brewers down 2. It'll be Robin Yount. 110 is a grounder to short. Paul Popovich, 46, is a walk. Back up top to Ron Theobald. 34 flies to left, and with 2 outs. Again, all of the Brewer bench is in use. It's Steve Hovley. 2-4 is a roller to short. That is it. The jubilant Expos will send the series back home. With a road win, with a comeback win, with 2 outs and nobody on in the 9th inning. The Expos win 5-3. Murray gets the win. No save needed. Don McMahon takes the loss. Series tied 2 apiece. Huge pitching advantage for the Expos in Game 5. The Brewers are going to send a lefty, the first time they've thrown a lefty in the series. Gary Ryerson versus Steve Rogers. We'll have the results of that after the break, so stay tuned. All right, baseball fans, here's the box score of the game you saw. The remarkable comeback by the Expos. Down to the last strike 3 different times. 3-run homer on Fairly in the 9th. They get a 5-3 win. No decision for Steve Franco. 7 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 9 Ks. Dale Murray, 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 walk relief with a W. Jim Colburn, dejectedly in the dugout. Pitched enough to advance his club. 8 innings, 6 hits, 2 runs, 6 walks, 4 Ks. It was the error in the 9th by Popovich, of all people, third baseman, who's made some key hits this year as a utility player, but ultimately it's that failure cost his team as McMahon gives up 2 hits, 3 unearned runs, and a walk. So what happens in a Game 5? Back in Expo Land. Oh boy, folks. Oh boy. Gary Ryerson for the Brewers. Steve Rogers for the Expos. And oh my goodness, the Expos have the hit parade today, folks. They crush, crumble, and chomp the Brewers 13-3. A double single by Al Lou in the first. The lefties, no problem whatsoever for the Expos versus a lefty. The first lefty they've seen in the series. Single, double, John Boccabella, sac fly, Ted Martinez. Alu single, Bob Bailey double, Mike Jorgensen single, 3-run homer, the kid, Gary Carter. 5 singles in the 4th. Ryerson's gone, Jim Slayton gets knocked around. They bring in ancient Ken Sanders to finish the game. And Steve Rogers, 8 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. Bob Reynolds closes it out. No contest. Expos rally down 2-1. Rally in the 9th. Win the series 3-2. So what's it mean? What's it mean, folks? What's it all mean? All right, we look at the postseason. The final 8 have found a spot, but we have a replacement team in here. Let's start out west. Texas +2. Kansas City +3. The Expos +2. Boston +4, but Boston is in first place because they have a tiebreaker with Baltimore. So the Orioles have to play in the round of 3. The third round of the postseason tournament sets up like this. Number 8, Texas versus number 5, Baltimore. A simple best of 3. Number 7, Expos. Number 6, Kansas City. A simple best of 3. Boston is at least a wild card. We've gone through the math several times. Baltimore can still win the division if they beat the Rangers. Matter of fact, Baltimore either wins the division or they're out. There's no way they can be a wild card. And Kansas City is playing, and the Expos are playing for the other wild card spot to join Boston or Baltimore. Texas would be a wild card with Boston winning the East, with the Orioles eliminated and one of these teams eliminated. So that's it. In the American League breakup, the Expos coming back, winning the series 3-2. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.